Okay, so when you hear the name Faust, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably a brilliant scholar, right? A deal with the devil, this insatiable quest for knowledge and power. And yeah, that's the story most of us know. But what if I told you that whole epic tragedy is actually a modern reinvention of a much, much older and way simpler tale? Let's go ahead and uncover the original blueprint.
Right, because the Faust we all picture today is this complex, striving, almost heroic figure. But was he always? Not even close. The original story had a totally different message. So the real question is, how on earth did a straightforward warning about, eternal damnation become one of literature's greatest psychological dramas?
To figure that out, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. The source code, really, for the entire legend is a German book from 1587, known as the Faustbuch. You got to think of this not just as an early version, but as the actual foundational blueprint for everything that came after.
And this right here is the crucial point. The Faustbuch is the original blueprint. It's the baseline. It's the yardstick that every later writer, from Christopher Marlowe all the way to Goethe, was reacting to. This book set the original, terrifying terms of the deal.
What's so fascinating about this original text is its purpose. Seriously, this was not meant to be complex art. It was, as the source material puts it, an unambiguous cautionary tale. Its goal was simple, it was direct, and it was absolutely designed to be terrifying.
Yeah, the authors weren't trying to explore the depths of the human soul or anything like that. Nope, they were delivering direct moral instruction. This wasn't about some internal conflict or a restless spirit. It was basically a fire and brimstone sermon in story form, and it was designed to deliver one single powerful lesson. Do not mess with the devil.
And this direct purpose, it's reflected in the worldview of the Faustbuch, which is incredibly black and white. There are no shades of gray here, none at all. It presents a world where the lines between good and evil are crystal clear, and the consequences for crossing them are, well, absolute.
In this original version, you have to understand, evil isn't a metaphor. It's not some internal struggle you have. It is a real, tangible, external force that exists out there in the world. It's not something you wrestle with in your conscience. It's something that can literally knock on your door. And this just illustrates the point perfectly. The devil here isn't some charming, witty tempter trying to trick you with clever words. He is a literal monster. I mean, the illustrations from back then show this winged, horned beast physically looming over the scholar in his study. The threat isn't psychological. It is right there in the room with you. So the ultimate takeaway from the 1587 blueprint is this really stark warning. You stray from God, you pursue forbidden knowledge for worldly power, and the consequences will be dire and eternal. It's a simple, terrifying equation. But then, the story evolved.
Flash forward 2 centuries, and Johann Wolfgang von Goethe gets his hands on this simple cautionary tale and just completely transforms it. He keeps the pact with the devil, sure, but he changes the single most important thing, the man himself.
See, Goethe's Faust isn't just some sinner looking for power. He's a profoundly dissatisfied intellectual, totally bored with books and abstract knowledge. What drives him is this relentless, lifelong striving for real, visceral experience, for a deeper connection to life and to nature. His ambition isn't just for power anymore, it's for meaning.
This slide really just crystallizes the whole radical transformation. Look at the shift in genre, from a simple cautionary tale to a deep psychological drama. And the goal? It's no longer about raw power. Goethe's Faust is looking for something way more elusive, a single, perfect moment of complete satisfaction. And that changes the devil's role entirely. He goes from being a terrifying monster to a necessary partner in this crazy quest.
So how did Goethe pull this off? Well, he expanded that original blueprint by adding these incredible layers of profound human tragedy and epic mythological scope that the original just never even imagined.
First and foremost, he introduced the tragedy of Gretchen. Faust's striving isn't a victimless crime, not at all. It leads directly to the complete ruin of this innocent young woman. I mean, he seduces her, her brother gets killed, society shuns her, and in her despair, she does something terrible and is condemned. Her suffering shows the very real damage and affliction caused by Faust's personal ambition. So the crucial point here is that Gretchen's story just elevates the entire narrative. It's no longer just about one man's soul anymore. Now it's this heartbreaking exploration of cruelty, of social injustice, and the immense suffering that can come from one person's selfish pursuit of experience.
But Goethe doesn't stop there. He just blows the doors off the original setting. He starts weaving in classical mythology, sending Faust on this insane journey through time to ancient Greece to pursue Helen of Troy. He meets goddesses, travels to Sparta and Arcadia. The scale just becomes epic, blending old German folklore with the grandeur of classical myth.
So, all of this leads to two completely different endings for two very different protagonists. Let's compare the ultimate fates that really seal the meaning of each version of this legend.
And this slide says it all. This is the ultimate outcome of these two different paths. The Faust book ends exactly how you'd expect a cautionary tale to end, with damnation. Simple as that. But Goethe, he flips the script entirely. His Faust is saved, and the reason why is profound. He's not saved for being a good person, but for his relentless striving itself. That constant refusal to ever be satisfied is what ultimately redeems him.
So in the end, we have two versions of the same core story with completely opposite messages. The 1587 Faust book is a clear, unmistakable warning against ambition, but Goethe's Faust is a complex, sometimes tragic, but ultimately hopeful exploration of that very same ambition.
Which, leaves us with a fascinating question for our own time. When we look at our modern world with its relentless innovation and pushing boundaries at all costs, how do we see Faust's ambition? Is that endless striving a virtue we should celebrate? Or is it a dangerous flaw that just leaves destruction in its wake? In the 21st century, would Faust be a hero or a villain?